Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to do the poem Don't Call Me Indo-Anglian by Syed Amanuddin. Syed Amanuddin was born in the year 1934. He belongs to South India. He is an Indian poet, but now he is settled in the USA. He is both a poet and critic. He writes in the modernist American tradition on a variety of subjects. He is a prolific writer who has written poems, criticism, and books on philosophy. He is one of the pronounced persons of the poetic world. His style of writing is abnormal. He has written the poems in an unusual style without using marks of punctuation and capital letters. He does not like the use of hyphens. He starts a line at the margin and explains it in the lines to follow. His main poetic works are Adventures of Autumn, An Epic of the Soul, Age of Female Eunuchs, Challenger of Poems, The Children of Hiroshima, Poems, Gems and Gems, Lighting and Love. His books on criticism include Creativity and Reception, Towards a Theory of the Third World, Criticism. Before beginning an explanation of the poem, let me tell you something about the poem. Introduction, that is. Syed Amanuddin writes in English and imagines in English, but does not like to be called Indo-Anglian because he has a dislike to this term. He does not want to be a mixture of culture and language. He does not like lack of imagination. He dislikes an unsuccessful relationship between an Indian and an English. He dislikes the use of hyphens. He dislikes the use of hyphens and calls them artificial values in the name of race, religion, and language. He denounces all labels and label makers. He does not like to be treated like a moon rock specimen which is analyzed, labeled, and stored in shelves again and again. Amanuddin says that those people who call him Indo-Anglian class him with a small group of writers. They shut him in a courtyard and isolate him from other great poets. This isolation makes him invalid. He says that the river Kaveri flows in his veins. His mind is full of happy associations of native place in the South India. He fondly remembers the Chamunda Hills, goddess Durga, slaying the demon Mahishasur, and the colorful Vrindavan garden fountains of Mysore. However, he is not confined to the childhood scenes. He has broadened his outlook, mastered languages, and discovered truth. He has become enlightened by getting rid of narrow prejudices. He has moved freely like the waves in the oceans of existence. His thoughts are free since he has traversed on the wings of thought. The poet Amanuddin will like to be grouped with great poets like Kalidasa, Kabir, Dante, and Omar Khayyam. He would wander in imagination with Kalidasa and Kabir. He would undertake a spiritual journey with Dante. He would meditate with Omar Khayyam on mathematics of life and would sing the painful songs of life and separation with Ghalib. He would drown with Lipo, kissing the moon's reflection in the river. Finally, the poet says that although he writes in English, he dreams in the language of Shakespeare and Keats, but he is not Anglo, English, or British. He is a poet. He has lived under various names and has the rich Indian cultural heritage of over 4,000 years. He is now Amanuddin. Let me read the poem out for you before explaining it. No, I don't want to be a hodgepodge of culture, a confusion of language, a nullity of imagination, an abortive affair between an Indo and Anglo. I hate hyphens, the artificial bridges between artificial values in the name of race, religion, and language. I damn all hyphenated minds, prejudiced offsprings of unenlightened souls. I denounce all labels and label makers. I refuse to be a moon rock specimen, to be analyzed, labeled, and stored for a curious, gloomy fellow to reanalyze, reclassify me for shelving me again. They call me Indo-Anglian. I don't know what they mean. Kaveri flows in my veins. Chamundi hills rise in my mind with stars afloat, eyes of the goddess smiling on the slain demon. Vrindavan fountains sing in my soul their musical colors, but I am not tied down to childhood scene. I have led languages by their ears. I have ravished creeds to force the truth out. I have burnt candles in the caves of prejudice. I have surged in the ocean of being. I have flown across the universe on the wings of my thought. They call me Indo-Anglian, the mistaken, misinformed fools, and class me with a small group of writers, cloistering me, crippling me. I would rather roam with Kalidasa and Kabir, or go on a spiritual journey with Dante, meditate with Khayyam on the mathematics of existence, or sing with Ghalim the anguish of love, or drown with Lippo kissing the moon's reflection in the river. They call me Indo-Anglian. It's true. I write in English, dream in the language of Shakespeare and Keats. But I am not an Anglo, my friend. I am a poet. I have lived 40 centuries under various names. I am now Amanuddin. In the beginning, the poet says, the poet Syed Amanuddin does not like to be a mixture of cultures and languages. He does not like a lack of imagination. He dislikes to be unsuccessful in relationship between an Indian and an English, that is British. He does not like the use of hyphens and calls them artificial bridges between artificial values in the name of race, religion, and language. He condemns all hyphenated minds whom he calls prejudiced products of the souls, which are not free from ignorance and superstitions. He denounces all labels and label makers. Labels are usually given to moon rock specimens, which are analyzed, classified, labeled, and finally stored at the shelves again and again. He does not like the label of Indo-Anglian for himself. He belongs to South India and the Kaveri flows in his veins. His mind is full of happy associations of South India. Chamundi hills on which stars afloat rise in his mind. The bright eyes of the goddess Durga are smiling on the demons. He belongs to the South India and the river Kaveri flows in his veins. His mind is full of happy associations of South India. Chamundi hills on which stars afloat rise in his mind. The bright eyes of the goddess Durga are smiling on the demon Mahishasur, slain by her. The colorful Vrindavan garden fountains of Mysore fill his soul with music. However, the poet is not limited by being tied to the scenes of his childhood. He has mastered languages, has twisted the system of religious beliefs in order to take out or to know the real truth. He has become enlightened by burning candles in the narrow caves of prejudice. He has moved freely like the waves in the oceans of existence. His thought is free since he has traversed across the universe on the wings of his thought. The poet Amanuddin says that those people are mistaken and misled who call him Indo-Anglian. They class him with a small group of writers. They shut him in a courtyard and isolate him from the external world and make him crippled or invalid. He would rather like to be grouped with great poets like Kalidasa, Kabir, Dante, and Omar Khayyam. He would wander in imagination with Kalidasa and Kabir. He would undertake a spiritual journey with Dante. He would meditate with Omar Khayyam on the mathematics of life and would sing the painful songs of love and separation with Ghalib. He would drown with Lipo, kissing the moon's reflection in the river. Finally, the poet says that although he writes in English, imagines dreams in the language of Shakespeare and Keats, yet he is not Anglo, English, or British. He is a poet, he has lived under various names, and he has the rich Indian cultural heritage of 4,000 years. He is now simply Amanuddin, the poet. Thank you.